Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the previous video where we discussed about that beautiful big bush tree, so lush that I feel like hiding in it. The current situation, lockdown and COVID, we really feel like going and hiding somewhere, or at least I do. Anyway, in this video, by the way, for those who are watching this video first and wondering what the hell's happening, go back to my channel, check on the other videos. There's a part 1 of this video where we spoke about this gorgeous tree here. Right now we will be discussing the rest of the video. We will be discussing the background of this piece, wherein we'll be covering, I think, a little bit of the foreground, maybe that lush green below the house. Right now I'm doing the background. I've mixed green, white and a little bit of black. So I want a very dense background, like into the woods kind of feeling. I didn't want to give a background with sun and sky and clouds. I didn't want that. A lot of my paintings are actually quite dark. I do like the sun, but I still prefer on a gloomy day though. I was quite gloomy while painting this. So that is it. That's the color I have used. Usually in the actual scene, the background is actually sky and clouds. Anyway, then here right now I'm actually going in with yellow so that I can come back on it with light, like really light green. This is more of an oil technique. And now I'm going with light green. Of course, it's a little mixed and diluted with yellow. So if you see, I'm actually going with dabs. I'm not sweeping the paint. I'm dabbing, dab. I'm going with shapes, and I'm not looking for cleanliness, prettiness. Don't bother about that. That's the number one thing about painting. Don't try to make it look perfect. Oh God, I battled with this for years, trying to make it look neat and clean. To your eyes, sometimes it might look a little clean, but no, especially with gouache, watercolors, and maybe even oil. I like the brush strokes to be seen through the painting. Like I said in the previous video, we want a painting, not a photograph. We do have cameras for that. So in this bush behind, big lush bush behind the tree, we can assume it's like a huge tree, maybe in the far off, maybe with a far off view. I'm going in with darks first, with dark colors, with dark greens first, because I want it to look like it's the background, and more like there's a gap between the house and the bush. So it's somewhere in the distance. You get what I'm saying? So the plants near the house is not visible. But for us, all we see is this big bush behind the house. So I'm going to let that darks dry for a bit. So I've come back to these bushes near the lighthouse. And now I don't know whether this is a lighthouse or, according to the scene, I don't know whether it's a lighthouse or a smoke relieving kind of tower. I don't know what is it, but I just liked it, so I composed it this way. Anyway, the bushes that I'm doing right now, I'm actually going in with darker colors. around it. I'm giving it more definition. Like I said, we finished blocking in the paint first. Blocking in meaning we are putting the base color first. Now what we are doing is modeling. Now what I'm doing is I'm modeling it. I'm giving it a shape, you know. I'm trying to give it a little yeah, what do you say, character. And now I'm going in with a little bit of light green. Like I said, I'd like to come back with it. I'll come back with light green. Sort of gives it a pop. I could have mixed thick paint and done it, but I wanted a more cartoonish, very Cartoon Network feel. Of course, we are working on a Studio Ghibli piece, but I'm sort of adding my own touch here and there. You know, I don't like copying completely. And to be very honest, you will never be able to create a painting copying another painting exactly the same way. Of course, there are people who can do it, not saying it's not possible, but you will find at least small changes. You will find it's never possible, because you never know what kind of mindset the artist was in while creating that particular painting. Anyway, back to what I was saying here. Right now I'm going with lighter shades of green. I'm filling in with some mid color shades, middle tones. I've never done this before, so please forgive me if I'm stuttering a little. I'm going with lighter greens. I'm trying to give it some life. So I'm creating some shapes right now. So I'm going completely dark behind the house. Just keep watching. Now I'm modeling the bush and giving it some more detail. I'm sort of actually mixing watercolors and gouache together here. So let me make it clear, this is water soluble gouache, aquafine gouache, which means I can mix this with watercolors on the paper. But if you try to mix it otherwise, say in water, gouache will float, because like I said, it's a tad thicker than watercolors. I'm giving an outline here, and I've gone ahead and finished the grass already. I didn't shoot this part. All I've done is just some a wash of light green, and I've given some shadows here and there, trying to make it look dense, and I've made it a little dark near the house and near the tower. I've given it a shadow. Of course, we will come back and work on this. I'm giving this kind of detail for the bush and trees, because now I can just leave it like that, because a Studio Ghibli or an oil painting, I can just leave it like that with brush impressions, marks. But I wanted to give a very cartoon anime feel. Now the exact version of the Studio Ghibli work, I think a digital work will be possible, and you know, I'll be able to do a lot of justice in producing an actual work of Studio Ghibli with digital with my iPad using Procreate app. Anyway, we'll come back to that in another video. So I've zoomed in here, and I specifically zoomed in here because I wanted y'all to take a look at how I'm doing the grass. So I'm doing the strokes from below to upwards. Of course, if you want to go from up to down, you might want to have a steady hand, steady fingers for that. And if you see, I'm not going with the grass strokes, with the strokes everywhere. I'm going very randomly, so that I can show the thickness of the grass. For example, when you've actually seen a grass bed, a bed of grass, you can see that it's never even. It's hardly even unless they've freshly trimmed it. It's sort of lumpy and stands up in areas. So that's what I'm trying to create here, so that I want to show that it's lush and green and dense and like it's been walked upon, but it's not regularly trimmed. So I'm trying to show that the house sort of hides behind this grass, and I want to show the distance between the tower, the house, and I want to show the lushness of the grass, the thickness. When you leave the space and create these marks, you're actually showing character. You're showing how thick that entire bed of grass is. So I'm going in with some really light cream yellow color. It's lemon yellow mixed with white. No, actually, sorry, it's cadmium yellow mixed with white. This is watercolors, thick watercolors. I hardly have added any water. So I'm adding these whites here to give it more definition, to sort of stand out. Small areas where there is fresh grass and some white stones. So now we'll start with like I said, let's finish the background and then come to the foreground. So the next video we'll talk about how those stones were created. Right now in the background, like I said, I want it to look dense, like it's the backdrop of a forest. Like it's the woods, someone living in the woods. It reminds me a lot about my hometown, Kerala, my great-grandmother's house, where our house is actually on top of a hill, and at the back we have rubber plantations and everything, and how dense the background is. So I sort of created this with that in my head. Right now I'm going with like a very diluted gouache. Sorry, that's my phone. It's not watercolors, it is gouache. I want a thick, opaque color, so it's not watercolors. I'm using dark green here. I'm using Winsor Newton's dark green. As you see, I'm dabbing, I'm drawing, I'm not sweeping the paint. Never ever ever sweep the paint unless you're trying to get an even wash. Don't do it. It won't look as natural. We're not trying to make it look absolutely real, but it won't look as natural. It won't look like it's it looks like it's some sort of like a wannabe kind of painting. Of course, we all start there. I've done it before. Who am I kidding? So I made those small marks there, the marks that I'm making right now, to show small leaves sticking out. I've gone with darker paint, dark green mixed with a little black. Just to be clear, add the black to the dark green. You add the dark green to the black, you're not going to get much out of it. It's going to be too harsh. We don't want it to take away from the mid-ground, the middle ground and the foreground. We want it to blend. So I'm going in with light green right now. This is watercolors, but I'm adding like a thick layer of it. This so that I want to show that there are fresh leaves. It is seen, but the fresh leaves are actually yellow, but in the dark it's seen as light green. because technically none of the leaves are actually yellow. They're sort of different shades and lighter shades of green itself. I'm sort of doing this just to get a little dimension. Some more light green. This time I'm more light green and white. I'm joining the trees in the background. I'm drawing them slightly lower so that the tree barks can be seen and fit in. Now I've sort of diluted the dark green and black completely, and I'm drawing some barks. If you're not confident with your brush, use a pencil. Don't be hard-handed. Be more soft-handed. Draw like a thin layer. I'd suggest instead of pencil, you can use soft pastel pencils in white, so you can see the marks and then go over it. Just giving the final touches. That was it for this video, guys. This is the part 2. We did the background, we did a little bit of the middle ground. That's the full work. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you.